This is how I went from a broke 21-year-old to a rich 24-year-old, all by teaching myself a high-income skill. I had no money in the bank. I was working at a comedy club. I was struggling. A couple years ago, I was the type of guy who, if I wasn't good at something, I would just give up. I really didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I had no plans, no goals. I was basically just tired of being poor. So when I got fired from my job at the comedy club, and that was like my 4th time being fired in a row, I knew I couldn't have a boss anymore. So I hopped on Google and I just typed in, how are millionaires created? And I found out that 90% of millionaires are created through real estate. So that was mind-blowing to me, because if I just chose the right industry, I'd have a higher chance. But I thought, people need money to get into real estate. What helped me was I found out how to get into flipping houses without any money at all. Within my first 30 days, I wholesaled my first deal by flipping a property without ever buying it, and I made $50,000. All I had to do was get a seller under contract for one price and then find a buyer with another contract for a higher price. I bring those 2 contracts to an attorney and they cut me a check for the difference at closing. This process is called wholesaling real estate, and it doesn't matter who you are, you can flip houses without having any cash, any credit. You could be a felon, you don't have to graduate anything. Anybody can do this business as long as you have both the contracts and a good deal with a seller and a good deal with a buyer. As long as there's money in between, you make that money. No risk, all reward. And yes, it's fucking legal.
If you're 16 years old, this is what I would do to become a millionaire. Step 1, I want you to read these 3 books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant, and Art of the Start. Step 2, I want you to pick this skill and I want you to master it. I want you to read as much as you can about it and I want you to go out and practice it. Ready? Selling. Step 3, I want you to pick something to sell. Go to your neighbors, bang on their doors, offer to mow their lawns, wash their cars, babysit. As soon as you've gone to someone's house and mowed their lawn, the very first question you're gonna ask them, this is the next step, is, hey, would you like me to just come do this for you every week? Because you're gonna turn that revenue into recurring revenue. The next step is every time you finish a job, you are going to go to that client or that person and say, hey, are there 3 people that you could just refer me to right now? It would really help me grow my new business. If you're a kid and you're younger and you're asking that, trust me, they're all going to do it. I want you to take as much of the money you're getting and immediately invest it into index funds. Do not go out spending it. Now, I want you to save up until you have enough to be able to buy your first real estate. This could take a few years, not only to become a millionaire, but to stay a millionaire for the rest of your life.
How I became a multimillionaire in my 20s. Just 2 years ago, I was homeless and living in a shelter, and last month I closed at $230,000. I've been able to buy my dream house, my dream car, take luxurious trips, and just completely change my lifestyle in just 2 years. I worked so many corporate jobs and I was absolutely depressed because I knew I was born to be the Kim Kardashian of my family. A guy in school used to say that I looked like a cancer patient because I had no brows. So I went and got my brows microbladed. I paid $1,000. A week later, she announced that she was doing a course for $6,000. I took my bank account to negative numbers to take this course. No one trusted me to do their brows or lips, so I had to go to Colombia, to my hometown. It was a very dangerous trip, but nonetheless, I set up a little room with all my equipment and I started doing brows right away. I did over 50 brows completely for free. And I made sure to take record of everything that I did before, after process. And I built a portfolio and an Instagram, TikTok account and started posting and running ads. I came back to the US thinking that I was going to have this as a little side hustle. But my hyper-realistic brows became so popular that I no longer had to work several jobs. And I became a full-time permanent makeup artist. In that little room that you saw, I was able to make my first $10,000 month, and then $10,000 months turned into $10,000 days, and then my camera roll started looking like this. I made $1 million within my first year of being a permanent makeup artist, and today, 2 years later, I make $2 million a year being a permanent makeup artist. I made it my goal this year to help women get out of their 9-to-5 job and become financially free, which is why I have an online program where I teach you all 7 techniques that make me multiple 7 figures. And I teach you the business side, how to run ads, how to make your first 6 figures. You get immediate access to the course, which has high quality up close videos of me on the board, fake skin, and even live model. You get a kit with everything you need to start working right away. You get a certificate so you can start working. You get a private one-on-one call with me where I get to look at your technique and make any adjustments and you can ask me questions. I'm only allowing 15 girls into my academy per month. There's only 5 spots left.
If you want to get rich in your 20s, then you need to learn from rich people. If you don't know any rich people, don't worry, I've got you. I went from broke, $40,000 in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, to becoming a self-made millionaire at the age of 30. Now I teach others how it's done. First thing that rich people don't do is they don't work for the things that they own. They don't work for their house. They don't work to pay for their travel. They don't work to pay for their car. Like, I just got back from the most expensive vacation I've ever taken, and I didn't pay for $1 of it out of my own pocket. Instead, I focused on buying assets like stocks and real estate that pay me while I sleep, and now that cash flow funds my lifestyle. It means I don't have to work for money. Because what good is a Rolex if it only tells you when your lunch break is over? You need to understand that investing is not just for the rich, it's how you get rich. You could quite literally buy an apartment building for $1 if you wanted to. You can do this by buying something called a REIT, a real estate investment trust. It's a company that owns and operates real estate and then shares their profits with you. This is one of the strategies I use to make over 6 figures a year without working. Second thing rich people don't do is spend time with people that don't have the life that they want. If you were trying to get sober and all of your friends were heavy drinkers and spent every weekend in the bar, what do you think would happen? When I started hanging out with people who were making 6 figures a month, wealth became like demystified for me. I realized when you know how money works, the amount that you can make is endless. The third thing rich people don't do is wait for shit to get bad before taking action. Put a frog in boiling water and he'll jump out right away. Put a frog in lukewarm water and slowly bring it to a boil. Frog won't notice and he'll cook to death. So many of us are in situations that we say aren't that bad. We say we're living paycheck to paycheck and we're struggling, but it's not that bad. We say we can't pay off our debts, but it's not that bad. We say we don't have money to do the things that we want in life, but it's not that bad. Society has us in a warm water chokehold, and many people won't realize what that actually means until it's too late. Learn how to start winning with money with our free trainings. Grab your spot on our website under freebies.